Morning. So we got about an 18-hour rain delay. Got rained out yesterday evening about 5 o'clock, and I would say we will be good to plant. The sun needs to come out, but sometime here this afternoon. But for now, just gave a telehandler a quick rinse. It's definitely not cleaned up from fertilizer, but rinsed off. We're gonna go spread some landscape gravel for Mrs. Brown there. Look at her. What a goofball. Oh, we need gravel around the farm sign. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Trying to be kind of quick. Got a few other things we're going to do before we can get back to being in the field. It is Olivia's first preschool graduation. I say first because she's only 3, so she will be in preschool next year. But got to go to that. Got to fill up the seed tender. And, well, I guess that's really about it. Not quite as busy as I thought, but still kind of in a hurry. So my cousin Ben, he has some landscape stone right down the road he said we could have, so I'm just gonna drive us over, get a scoop, and head to the other farm. Looks like you got your work boots on.
Yeah, I have to supervise him.
There's the gravel. Put this around the flowers. So these are actually flowers that people had sent us from mom's service, so figured this was a good way to use those and kind of, you know, honor her memory. So anyways, let's get them in there. Alright, looks pretty good. Even have extra gravel. Perfect. Sometime we've got to sweep out this building. We'll probably end up pressure washing it, take all the blocks out of the center of it so we can use it for equipment storage, but that's not happening today. So in this clip, I'm just walking through one of the very first fields we planted, and I noticed that I had a setting messed up on my drill. If you notice, there's just an empty block here of no beans. Turns out I had my look ahead settings a little off, and I'm having the realization that we're going to have to patch in some beans at some point in the near future. Alright, so we're going to go out here and fill up the seed tender. It's a few hours later. We walked some fields, we sat down and ate some lunch, went to a kid's graduation, but I think now we're going to fill up and go plant a couple fields. But that's the goal. Alright, I want to switch varieties here soon, so I need to do some figuring on how many pounds of seed we need. Should have like 300 or 400 in here already. Maybe 500 pounds, something like that, 550. I want to change varieties because the ground that we're going to plant tomorrow, assuming we don't get any more rain, is ground that'll go to wheat. And the variety that's in here is a long variety. This is a 3.8 maturity. I want to plant a 3.4 maturity that I have for the ground that's going to wheat, so maybe it's done a little sooner, matured a little sooner. So we got an 80-acre field today, plus a 4-acre field today, plus a 28-acre field today, plus a 32-acre field. That's 144 acres. So we're putting on 60 pounds to the acre with this variety. We need 8,640 pounds of seed. So we're loaded up. We're gonna stop at the office, get some coffee, because we got to get caffeinated up, and then we'll head over to the drill, or the planter. I still call it a planter. I've planted way more than I've drilled, so we'll still call it a planter. Alright, we got to fill up with government juice and then we'll be good to go. That thing's down to the last bar. That'll be the second time we filled up this planting season. We've planted about 1,000 acres so far. We should probably, so that one there. Uh-oh. We about crushed our platform handrail. When you go to fold it though, it will ask you if your handrail's down. Tell you what, it is, whew, it's hot. It is humid in the upper 80s today. So we had a couple tenths of rain yesterday, and it's humid. So hopefully we don't have any issues. What I mean by that is I'm going to go plant a field. I would say it's in good shape, just judging by the soil type and the amount of rain we got and the heat there is today, and the little bit of breeze we got. But when you plant into a field that's wet, with hot weather in the forecast, you have the potential to have what is called crusting. Basically, the ground will get hard as a rock. It'll basically become concrete from that sun baking it, and the plant will try to grow up to it, and the neck of the bean will just break off and it's dead. I think we're gonna be okay because we have rain in the forecast all next week. So even if it is hot, I don't think we're gonna have too much of an issue. So we'll see. I asked Dad what he wanted me to do. I didn't know if he'd want me to wait a day. He said go plant, so that's where we're going. Can't do no more than replant it. Corn's growing well. This grass right here is really hard to kill. That grass was sprayed, shoot, 2 weeks ago. It's dying, it's just taking its good old time, but you can maybe see the corn out there. I have not walked much of the corn, but what I have walked looks pretty good. So happy with the stand so far. Man, them windows got dirty the other day in that sprinkle. Wheat's coming on pretty good. This is our spread wheat. I've had a lot of questions about that. I think it looks good. Our agronomist says we have some pretty good wheat, but we will find out in approximately 1 month. The proof will be in the pudding, as they say. So we got some no-till here, some vertical till, and then on down here we've got some strip till. Should be pretty interesting this fall to see how this all pans out. Dad's already planted this. This is probably about to pop through the ground. It's planted probably 4 to 5 days ago. It seems like corn's been popping after about 4.5 days. So if this corn, I would say it'll be emerged by tomorrow morning, would be my guess. So I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape. We're rolling dust. It's not that wet. So Dad's out here and we are checking a couple things on some settings, trying to get our swath control a little bit more dialed in. So with the drill, it's not near as precise as it is with a planter as far as your shutting off and turning on times. Going into this headland, there's a setting in this ag leader I can adjust to where it starts turning the meters off or turning them on early. And that setting is something we've been having to play with. I've just been having a lot of overlap. In fact, a few of the first fields, like I showed you earlier, we're gonna have to go patch in some places. Look ahead, 5, 2.5. I want to get that a little dialed in. So this one, we just came into a headlands with a 4-second look ahead. So this meter should have turned off technically 4 seconds before we got there. We will see how this looks. How'd it look?
It looks like you might be 10 feet.
10 feet overlap?
Yeah, but then there's 2 there, but there's nothing in there. One, maybe not that much.
So you want me to dial it in anymore or leave it there? That's a 4-second look ahead.
Right, 5.
Okay. Got the other one set at a 5-second look ahead to turn on. So again, what we mean here when we're saying this look ahead time, the meters that meter the seed out of that tank are under the bottom of the tank, whereas on a planter they're at the row unit. So when that meter shuts off, it's still got to blow that seed. It's quit blowing seed. So it just, there's a delay there. That's what this look ahead time, that's what it's for. Go out and see when our turn on time was. Like I said, that was a 5-second look ahead. See how that worked out. How'd it work?
Pretty damn good, huh? Right there's one bean and there's one, but I don't know until it gets clear full. Right there where you're standing, there's clear full.
So 5's probably pretty good then, you think?
I'd say where you're at, pretty good.
Okay.
Unless you go down a half a second or a fraction.
Yeah, I'll turn it to 5.25.
Two beans there, that gets thicker.
That should be the furthest row unit away too.
Yeah.
So what we did, we unscrewed one of the seed tubes. So the number 1 row unit is unscrewed. So it's just throwing beans on the ground. That's how we're able to tell this without digging.
Go down.
Okay. So one complaint I do have with the air seeder, and this stems back to just how the metering system works. When you pick it up, you just dribble beans out for a few seconds, and basically it's just these lines clearing out after that meter shuts off. It just is what it is. That's just kind of part of the design. But they're simple. 2 meters are easier to maintain than, well, in this case 48. If anyone is running an Avatar, there's your look ahead settings. If you run it through an ag leader, save you a little bit of time and trouble, get you close anyways. Still recommend double checking. So one thing goofy about these look ahead settings, this is what your map will look like. When that's green, we're planting. It looks like we're planting into an area that's planted, but it's doing that to get seed in the tubes to shut off for when we go across this, that seed is draining out. One thing is, it does not map very well. Like, you're going to end up with these big gaps in your maps. It just kind of is what it is. But as long as the seed comes up, that's the important part. But off to the races. Brother BJ is burning some corn stalks about a mile behind me, and we've got a haze all the way down through these river bottoms. So it is after the burn time, and he is down there with the disc, so it's not like he just walked away from a burning fire, but just lots of piles of corn stalks. So we're still doing the big field. We got a little patch over on the other side of this flood levee we've made. It's only 4 acres. The D8 is eventually going to come over here and move that levee over to there, so that this 4 acres is a part of the 80 acres behind us. We don't have to farm it as 2 fields. That is Dad's intentions at some point. We have a lot of intentions, and they don't always happen. But it would make this a lot better. Too much shade, too secluded. The deer love this little field, but it's either this or mow it, so we farm it. Usually it takes longer to get everything set up in the monitor than it does to do this field, but like I said, better than mowing it. One thing about it, this planter folds and unfolds when I tell it to. It may seem simple, but when you're not used to that, it's a nice feature. 4.19 acres later, we're back to the big field. Got something dragging up. See what we got going on here. Notice that behind me. That isn't what we want. And one thing I don't understand is why this middle section comes up real slow sometimes. I don't get it. Let's see here, what we got? I don't know what happened. We'll adjust our downforce and see what we, I don't know. We'll see if it happens again. I don't see any bearings out or anything stuck in the unit itself, so let's see here, we'll adjust our, oh, we did have our downforce at 100%. So this is our unit downforce. Usually in tilled ground like this, I run it at 60, so maybe that had something to do with it. Pull up here, find out. Spin our meters. See if we start dragging. That must have been it. We're not dragging. Just pushing too hard in that loose dirt, I guess. Probably cheat that up a little bit more. Well, the rain got here a little early. I have about 30 minutes left. That didn't work well. I didn't think it was going to rain until about 11 o'clock. It's only 9 o'clock. 9:30. 9:20 actually. Not good. Well, it's just sprinkling, but they're big sprinkles. We've reached the closest point to our exit, and we haven't made a full lap. So let's go check, see how sticky it's getting out here. I think we're probably done. That just kind of sucks. We're going to have to come back for 15 acres. I mean, nothing's sticking to the planter yet. Gauge wheels, packing wheels, they're all still good, but I think it's going to start raining harder before it starts raining softer. I think we're just got to shut her down. Moral of the story, should have got up earlier, but it rained last night too, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered what time we got up today. Well, crap. I guess now we're going home early. I mean, it is about almost 10 o'clock now, but I was really hoping this would hold off for another 2 hours because I was going to finish that field and maybe go to another one, but don't always get what we want.